And look, I wasn't performing, so it's not like I'm not a victim. I did want to talk about that earlier, but just that the one thought of like, are we gonna use the victim mentality that it's we're poor me, or are we gonna use the mentality of what lesson is God trying to teach me here? Like that's the way I look at it. And so if you can pick one of the, you're going to pick one or the other. You're not going to pick both. Those two things don't mesh together. But for me, I found out later on in my career, I was going into my fourth season, got into spring training, and you show up every day in the morning real early, get to the locker room, got your nameplate, got your stuff in there. Well, I show up to the clubhouse, and my nameplate's there, my stuff isn't. So they literally clean out your locker. So I got my locker cleaned out. That's literally how they let you know you've been released. That they got your stuff packed over in the room next to the locker room. You walk down, you get your stuff, you talk to the higher ups that made the decision, have kind of a closure meeting, and that's that. You're on a plane flight within an hour after that. I mean, they know, they've got their plane flight booked for you before they tell you. So, but to answer your question, yeah, I mean, the last year of my career I wasn't playing as much. How I handled it. The first week I didn't handle it well. It was my whole life I worked to become a major leaguer. That was my goal. And so that was the day my dreams ended in a way, right? It's funny you asked that though, because this would be a good lesson for all of you too, to just understand that things change in life. I had a workout with the Washington Nationals 2 weeks later, and I decided not to go. My mind and my heart weren't in it at the time. I decided I wanted to go on to the next stage of life, make the decision to go back to school. I was fortunate enough when I signed out of high school, the Arizona Diamondbacks paid for me to go back to college, so I took advantage of that opportunity. So I did that, but I had a decision to make, and once I made the decision, then it was, all right, now full on ahead. Here's my new path, here's my new vision. This is where my constant thoughts, energy, focus goes toward. Left the other stuff behind me. It was bittersweet. I had been worn out, and the one thing I'll say too, when you guys see these guys on TV, it is not the sweetest lifestyle you think it is. They have, by no means, obviously I wanted to be a major leaguer, but that's a rough lifestyle, and it beat me up. I started taking it as a job, that I was now working as a job, and I forgot that it was a game I was still playing. I think that's where mentally and spiritually it really got to me. Yep. Say it again. A lot, and more so in the second half of my career, my last year in particular, kind of what we're talking about here. A ton of mental battles. Compared, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a challenge, and it's not just with my story of what I'm telling you. For all of you guys are all going to hit what sometimes feels like rock bottom. But sometimes when it's really a lesson, and again, for me, just personally, for me, it's a lesson from God of what He's trying to teach me. That's the question I always try to ask myself now. Sitting here today at 32 years old, what I can tell you, what I did not think about when I was your age, and I did not process thoughts this way. I wasn't thinking about what kind of lesson am I being taught here? Where is the hidden gem of value, of wisdom that will help me in the next stage of life? So I would say that for me, that would be that. That's a good question. I think it was a combination of things, very highly competitive. For me, just to give you context, I was a high school athlete, and I was seeing a pitcher throwing 80 miles an hour every day. Got to the minor league level where guys were throwing 92, 94 every day, with also way better curveballs and off speed. And so I hadn't quite seen what I had seen for a long enough time. I was trending upwards my last year, but unfortunately it was, I just didn't have quite enough time. I felt like if I did have enough time, maybe it would have been differently. Maybe not. I don't know. But I felt like I would have had a better chance, certainly. I just think the level of competitiveness at that age, if I could be frank, is just sometimes you're good enough, sometimes you're not. And being able to live with the results is everything. Once I finally understood and could tell myself that it was okay, and hindsight looking back, knowing that still, even though I did make it, everything that I had done did give me my best chance, and my best chance to get as close as I possibly could, and that was enough for me.